Hello, this is the daily COVID update from Deccan Herald. I'm Suraksha.
I'm Akhil.
On the bulletin today, Karnataka reports 26 new cases of COVID-19. We take a look at what the data from the Karnataka War Room has to say. The Ministry of Home Affairs allows a few shops to reopen, and Nitin joins us to bust the top fake news of the week. But first, a look at the national numbers from Akhil.
India reported the lowest daily growth, 6%, in COVID-19 cases since the confirmed infections crossed 100 in March. However, at the same time, more than 1,000 cases have been reported in the last 24 hours. More than 26,000 cases have been reported in the country so far. 19,280 people are active carriers of the virus. Close to 6,000 patients have recovered since they were first tested, and the country has registered 823 COVID-related deaths so far. The Indian Council of Medical Research has collected more than 5.5 lakh samples for testing from across the country till date. Maharashtra reported 811 cases today, beating its own record from 2 days ago. More than 2,500 cases have been reported from Mumbai in a span of 10 days. More than 55,000 tests have been conducted in Mumbai alone. The state has more than 6,000 active cases. Gujarat reported 256 cases today. Delhi and Rajasthan are in the 3rd and 4th spot. Karnataka is at 11th place.
Karnataka has reported 26 new cases today. Out of the 324 active cases, 7 are in the ICU. The number of people discharged is at 158 and the deaths remain as yesterday at 18. Of the 26 new cases reported today, 13 are from Bengaluru. Out of these, 5 are direct contacts and 4 are secondary contacts of patient 419 from Hongasandra. 9 cases from Belagavi are secondary contacts of patient 128. Mandya, Chikbalapura, Mysuru and Dakshina Kannada have all reported 1 case each.
In national news, the government will be roping in MBA interns from institutions like IIM, TERI and the Indian Institute of Public Administration to assist 11 high-level empowered groups to tackle COVID-19 and data analysis and providing policy inputs. The internship will last for 8 weeks. The interns will be selected after an interview conducted remotely. While international travel is banned, several Indian citizens living and working abroad have died due to accidents or non-COVID related issues. However, their families have not been able to bring their bodies back. Now, an NGO, Pravasi Legal Cell, has filed a plea in the Supreme Court to direct the center to take steps to bring back the mortal remains of such citizens. The petitioner claimed that the unusual process of demanding a no objection certificate from the authorities here in India made the whole repatriation process completely tedious. As a result of this, a number of bodies of Indian citizens who died of non-COVID ailments are lying abandoned in airports, especially in countries like Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, UAE, and Saudi Arabia. The Ministry of Home Affairs has allowed shops which are registered under the Shops and Establishment Act of the respective states to reopen in a further relaxation of the lockdown. Shops in residential complexes and neighborhoods can reopen. Single brand or multi-brand shops, however, will not be allowed to open just yet. Shops that are allowed to reopen can function to 50% of the staff who have to mandatorily wear masks. Restaurants, salons, barber shops will remain closed. E-commerce companies will continue to deliver essential items.
In news from Karnataka, a look at the data released by the Karnataka War Room yesterday. Please remember that this data does not reflect the cases reported today. Karnataka has 305 active patients and has seen 151 recoveries. 18 people have died due to COVID-19 so far, and they are between the ages of 15 to 80. Bengaluru Urban, or the BBMP, has recorded the highest number of active cases as well as recovered cases. Kalburgi, with less than half of Bengaluru's cases, has recorded the same number of deaths. Both districts have recorded 4 deaths each. Vijayapura and Mandya have seen no recovery so far. All the active cases in Udupi, Davangere, Chitradurga and Kodagu have recovered. Take a look at the taluks that have reported at least 1 case in the last 28 days. 12 taluks have more than 10 cases each. These include Nanjangud, Bangalore North, Bijapura, Gulbarga, Mysuru, Bangalore South, Belagavi, Raibag and Belagavi, Bagalkote, Bidar, Malavalli in Mandya and Hospet in Ballari. 15 taluks have between 2 to 9 cases. 13 taluks have 1 case each. The green represents COVID-free areas. A big cause of concern in this state has been the presence of asymptomatic patients, or those who do not show any symptoms of the virus until they are tested. The blue bars tell you the extent of the problem. 71 out of 129 cases in Bengaluru were reportedly asymptomatic. 66 out of 87 in Mysuru didn't report any symptoms. Asymptomatic patients risk spreading the virus to others, making it difficult to curb the infection. A broad look at the source of transmission. India banned international flights at the end of March, and the source of transmission now is overwhelmingly local. Here is the detailed look at the source of transmission. Of the total 474 cases, 311 have been direct or secondary contacts of previously diagnosed patients. 73 cases have had an international travel history. 49 have had a domestic travel history. Severe acute respiratory illness constitutes the next big chunk with 35 cases. 5 cases have been reported from patients complaining of influenza-like illness. A look at the age-wise distribution. Most of the positive cases are from the 30 to 40 age group, closely followed by the 20 to 30 age group. One of the assumptions early on was that older people tend to be more susceptible to the virus, and while that has happened, the younger age group seem to be the worst affected. A look at the demographics now. Bengaluru urban has 23 cases of those who are more than 60 years of age, followed by Kalburgi, which has 8. More than half of those affected are male. 133 cases have been recorded among women. And finally, here is a look at the number of COVID tests per million population. While Italy and the USA have conducted the most number of tests, Karnataka appears to have tested more people per million when compared to the rest of India.
Before we go, it's safe to assume that if there is a crisis at hand, then fake news can't be far behind, right? My colleague Nitin has been tracking some of the wildest forwards on social media platforms.
Let's get right down to it and debunk fake news in the times of a raging pandemic. This video was shared by Kannada actor Dhruva Sarja as a possible cure for coronavirus. The video shows electricity being produced using cow urine and cow dung, and the power of cow excreta was exalted by Dhruva Sarja's followers.
ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ ಗೋಮೂತ್ರದ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು.
ನಾವು ಕುಡಿಯುವ ಬಿಸಿಲರಿ ಬಾಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ
ಬಿಸಿಲೇರಿ
ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಪವರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಬಿಸಿಲೇರಿ ನೀರಿದು ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್
ಅದೇ ಗೋವಿನ
ಸಗಣಿಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಪವರ್ ಇದೆ.
ಅದೇ
ಗೋಮೂತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಪವರ್.
ಅದೇ ಗೋವಿನ
ಮೊಸರಲ್ಲಿದೆ.
ಗೋವಿನ ಹಾಲಲ್ಲಿ
ಇದೆ.
ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಅದ್ಭುತ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಡೆಂಗ್ಯೂ ಮಲೇರಿಯಾ ಇವೇನಿದೆ ಕಾಯಿಲೆಗಳು,
ಕೊರೋನಾ ಕಾಯಿಲೆಗೂ ಇದು
ಕೊರೋನಾ ಕಾಯಿಲೆಗೆ ರಾಮಬಾಣ ಇವತ್ತು. ಇದನ್ನ ನೀವು ವಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಿನಾದ್ರೂ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಹೊಗೆ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 ಚಮಚ ಗೋವಿನ ತುಪ್ಪವನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೆ ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಯಾವುದೇ ವೈರಾಣು ಜೀವಾಣುಗಳು ಬರದಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಗೋವಿಗಿದೆ.
But what is really happening here? Any high schooler will tell you that the simple process of electricity generation from cow excreta is because of the uric acid, which acts as an electrolytic solution. And when the zinc and copper plates come in contact with uric acid, which is found in abundance in any animal's urine, electrons move to generate electricity. One can even replace cow urine or cow dung with potatoes, tomatoes or lemons and create the miracle that is electricity. Of late, popular Kannada news channels have been in the news for dodgy coverage of the pandemic. This particular video was telecast on TV5, which stated that a man from Saraki near JP Nagar had spat on the grapes he was selling. A cursory glance at the video made it clear that the man never spat on the grapes but on the ground.
ತಪ್ಪಾಯ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಅವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಈಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಣ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಜನದ್ದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನಾನು ನೋಡೋ ನನ್ಗೆ ಹುಚ್ಚಲ್ಲ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ.
The same viral video was shared by a Facebook page called Namma Uttara Karnataka and on Twitter as well. Soon enough, a federation of street vendor unions called the Bengaluru Jilla Bidi Vyapari Sangatanegala Okkuta filed a complaint against the news channel. The video was soon taken down by the dubious Facebook page and the Twitter user deleted his account soon after. In yet another strange attempt to rake up patriotic fervor during the pandemic, this piece of fake news quickly went viral. The National General Secretary of the BJP, B.L. Santosh, shared the image of India's flag on a Swiss mountain, adding that it was because Narendra Modi supplied hydroxychloroquine tablets to the world. Well, India's flag was indeed projected on the Matterhorn mountain in Switzerland. However, it was not because India exported hydroxychloroquine to the world. Swiss light artist Jerry Hofstetter has been lighting up Matterhorn mountain with spectacular displays of flags of various countries. It is part of a nightly series supporting nations such as Pakistan, China, Italy, Spain, USA, UK and several others to give hope and strength in times of the COVID-19 pandemic. Stay tuned for more fake news takedowns because unquestioned fake news is as good as the truth.
Well, we're never going to fall short of stories in a fake news segment, okay? That's all from us today. Stay safe, and for the latest updates, log on to DeccanHuddle.com.